So this okay. Now this is gonna be our last diary. I do a series of write-ups and at times videos, just to talk to us young ministers, and I just felt compelled by the Spirit to quickly do this. So address maybe two or three issues. And the first one is the issue of people getting offended that they invite someone to minister in their ministry, and at the end of the day, the person is here to invite them, or the person doesn't want to invite them, and so on and so forth. I've had a lot of cases like that that people have reported people to me. Let's say, for example, now I go somewhere to minister, and so you mean the person's now thinking that one day I'm going to invite the person also to minister for me. No, it doesn't work that way, folks. If you are invited to minister somewhere, I want to believe it was the Holy Spirit that put it in the heart of those people to invite you, except people are now inviting themselves, to minister for social reasons. Invitation to minister is a very spiritual thing. And for me, as a young minister now, if the Lord doesn't put it in my heart, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do. I don't think it's in my place to invite you. But the Lord is the one that is in charge of this ministry. And if He says, invite so and so, I go ahead to invite the person, and I'm not doing that so that the person can invite me, God forbid. You see, these are some of the things we need to outgrow. Why would you invite someone because you want them to invite you, or the case that somebody just brought to me recently? Okay, somebody went to America to preach in a particular church, and this American friend now visited Nigeria, for his own private things, and he was not expecting the Nigerian guy also to allow him to preach, and that became an issue. And the Nigerian guy had to report the issue to me, and I had to tell him exactly what I'm saying. That yeah, people who have you are friends with in ministry, when they visit your city, you can go and see them, you can share fellowship, but whoever is going to stand behind the pulpit is a function of the ministry of the Spirit. And I think everyone should be able to relate with that so that nobody's offended. And you begin to think that once I invite you, you have to invite me. No, I've never done that for anybody. And I don't expect anybody to do that for me. So if I invite you, it is because the Holy Spirit wants me to invite you. And if you want to invite me to, it should be a witness in your spirit. As a matter of fact, I don't honor every invitation, just like I know most of us don't, because once it doesn't, you know, click with my spirit, I don't see any reason why I had to do that. And my mentor and father, Pastor Bakari, already taught me early in ministry that, you can only minister to those you have relationships with. And that's why when you just come from the blues and I don't know you, it's always very difficult. Like on this trip now, I had opportunities to preach in a lot of places and I refused, I turned it down. And the reason is simple because I do not know the people. If I don't know you or if I don't have a recommendation from maybe a senior minister or someone I trust about you. It's not just about, oh, we've seen one Pastor Shumakinde is in town, let him come and preach for us. I don't do that. And Pastor Bakari was instrumental to instilling that, value into me early in the ministry. And so that settles that. Ministry is not a social engagement whereby I invite you, you invite me. There's nothing like that. And let's be careful. Thank you. The second question, okay. Now, the issue of honorarium, well, is in the same vein. Many years ago, so Pastor Bakari taught me, and it's been the value system with which approach the issue of honorarium is the fact that I don't go anywhere where I cannot sponsor myself to and fro. If I cannot sponsor myself to and fro, and I'll have to rely on the honorarium, I will not go. And somehow God has been good. Anywhere I go, I could, sponsor myself to and fro without honorarium. And the reason why that is the case for me was because Pastor Margaret taught us many years ago that we're not preaching for money. And I'm going to balance that. There's a balance to that because I don't also, as a minister, I like, taking people for granted and being abusive. I expect that if you invite someone to come into your ministry, you should be able to take care of their basic, you know, transport, welfare, and what have you. And as a ministry also, just say thank you. But what I'm trying to say is I'm not even talking about the ministry inviting someone to come and minister. I'm talking about your attitude as a minister. It's also very important for you to know that we're not doing this because of money. So there's nowhere I can go that I'll minister, whether they give me anything or they don't give me anything. Sincerely, it doesn't bother me. And the reason is that I've been instructed by Pastor Bakari to not to even give that a thought at all. So what I do is that whether home and abroad, if I'm going, I have my ticket, money for my ticket, I've had ministries that bought tickets for me, but as a matter of policy, I don't ask anybody to buy tickets. If you invite me, I go there myself. And if you give, fine. And if you don't, and there are many instances also that the Holy Spirit told me not to take anything. Like my father, Pastor Bakari, if he comes into a ministry for the first time, often he would not take anything and he would tell them that that is his policy and that is his principle, except he's instructed otherwise by the Spirit. And I've learned from that also. So I don't go into a ministry because I'm expecting them to give anything to me. If they do, fine. And if they don't, sincerely, it doesn't, I won't see them the next time and I'll be offended or I'll be cold. Or if I have an opportunity to bless them, I will not also, like people say, pay them back in their coin. It's not like that in ministry. I allow peace, just do what I need to do and trust God. So the balance is this also. Now, you as a host ministry, you must also realize that we must not be abusive, that ox that treads out the corn must not be muzzled. We must not take people for granted. Now, if you invite somebody to come all the way, at least there must have been a means of transport. Even if you cannot give them so much, take care of their basic needs, put them in a nice hotel, because you also have to understand that they are divine emissaries. And the reason why you are inviting them is because you're inviting them as an ambassador for Christ. So at least at your level, without borrowing, without doing more than yourself, at the level, because every ministry is, ministry are in sizes, ministries are in phases. So you have to understand that you, within the resources available to you at your level, without doing more than yourself, what is the best you can do? And if your best is not good enough to take care of the basic need of anybody that you want to bring from outside of the country or outside of your state, just wait until you get to such a time. You can also invite people around whereby you don't need to, do anything, transport or whatever. And that is the balance. So the balance is that host ministries should not take guest ministers for granted, and guest ministers also should not go into ministries for the sake of money. You must also trust God to meet your need. Don't forget, Apostle Paul also had to pay his way, to preach the gospel. It wasn't depending on any church. And it's not a question of whether one has so much money or not. It's not even that question. It's a question of the right attitude. And that attitude is very, very important, that you are doing this for God. I remember years ago, I was talking to a beloved brother of mine who was really troubled about this issue. And when I shared along this line, he was healed immediately. And from that time also, he will always take his money and he will always go where God is leading him to go, whether people appreciate him or not, or whether there's honorarium or not. And that is the right attitude. And that helps in the name of Jesus. Okay. Another question again. Okay. Like I said, honorarium is a function of where you are as a ministry. There's no rule to read that it must be this amount or that amount. Just do your best under God within the given circumstances and make sure that you do not take your guest ministers for granted. And that is it. Like, for example, for me now, I have a lot of checks. I've gone to many some places where they give me checks and they are like, oh, we will tell you when it's time to present a check in the bank. And believe me, some of them as old as 5 years, 6 years. But it was recently, when we were moving houses, I saw some of the checks. I had to throw them away. And, that is not good because integrity, should not be taught in the church. It should be assumed. So I give a check that you don't, I'm also it's taking 1 year, it's taking 2 years. I don't think that is, but again, I'm not offended. I mean, I still meet some of the people, those I still meet, and we still get along, and I never brought it up as an issue because It's not an issue to me, sincerely. But if the Holy Spirit wants me to talk to them about it, maybe if they're closer and if they are friends, but I'm bringing it up not for the sake of, oh, you gave me a bounce check or a check that you have not told me when to present it. That is not from that point of view. It's just to make them to understand that that is not done in ministry. So what we're saying is that it is important for us to understand that there are things about you. The fact that somebody has come to preach for you doesn't necessarily mean it's your friend. So you have to understand that. So don't turn the relationship into a social relationship. Let I mean know that blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord, and let it remain at that level. It's important because some people also feel once you preach for them or they preach for you, then automatically you are friends. No, don't make that mistake. And I have learned that over the years that the fact that I minister for you or you minister for me doesn't necessarily mean we're friends. So I won't deal with you at a friendship level. So until when you open that friendship door, that is when I come in as a friend. Otherwise, I take you as a minister of God and I relate with you as a brother or a sister, as the case may be. And I don't assume anything. I don't try to joke with you. I don't try to be funny with you until you give me an access into your realities, and that's when we become friends. So I think this is going to help because there's so much infightings going on that people just feel, oh, in fact, somebody said, well, if we can invite you and give you money, don't you know you are supposed to invite us also and be a blessing to us? It doesn't work that way. It's not a social contract, it's a spiritual thing. I think that's enough for now. So let's allow this to go on here. Then we will look at other aspects of ministry that possibly will help us young ministers and also, reposition us for that which the Lord wants to do. But it's important for us to understand that everything ministry must be done in integrity and there are ethics guiding how we operate as ministers so that we don't, get into trouble in an attempt to do ministry. Thank you very much. God bless you. Good morning.